Taste the feeling.
For total home pest control, who are you going to call?
Call the Bug Man, 923-BUGS.
For total pest control for your home or business, call the original Salvat.
Call the Bug Man today, 923-BUGS.
Exiles from what you ask? Exiled from the radio. But now, we're on your television.
I'm Bill Profita, he's Kevin Gallagher, and they kicked us to the curb.
But we're back.
We are back with Exiles Television on the Pelican Broadcasting Network. We're going to bring you the newsmakers. We're also going to take your calls and give you great information. It's going to be the best damn radio show on television.
Look for it on your cable system or download the app, PelicanSportsTV.com.
It says here that E.Eric Guirard is back. Where has he been?
Well, I heard he was in the great Northwest hunting for Sasquatch.
Stop.
Really? Yeah.
I've been looking for years. Maybe Sasquatch doesn't exist.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Hello and welcome to hour one of our Monday edition of the Clarence Bug Show. Here's hoping your weekend was an absolutely fabulous one. If not, well, like we like to say each and every Monday, right about this time of the day, good Lord willing, you will still be here when the next one rolls our way, and you'll have the opportunity to try it all over again. Believe it or not, at the Louisiana State Capitol, all is not just about COVID-19 and the pandemic that we are all living under right now. Here in Louisiana, with the advent of the lifting of the prohibition on attorney advertising, it's become pretty much a part of our everyday lexicon. Watching attorneys on television and seeing clients saying, this attorney got me X amount of dollars for my car accident, my personal injury case, so on and so forth. Senator Heather Cloud is promoting a bill in the Louisiana legislature that would label as false or misleading ads where a person says, so-and-so attorney got me X amount of dollars, but they didn't get the full amount because there are attorney's fees, there are expert witness fees, and other fees deducted from that. Good idea or bad idea? Well, we turned to a friend of the show and a guy that everybody in Baton Rouge knows, attorney E.Eric Guirard, to get his take on this bill. Eric, how are you this morning, my friend?
Hey, Clarence, I am doing just fine. I'm safe and healthy.
Fantastic.
Best you can ask.
Fantastic. Senator Heather Cloud says these bills are deceptive. These advertisements are deceptive. In your mind, are they deceptive?
Well, Clarence, I'm kind of a strange animal. I'm a conservative injury lawyer.
Okay.
There aren't many of us.
Right.
And so I take a different view on these things. I mean, I've been advertising since the early 90s.
Mm-hmm.
But on these particular ads, I tend to agree with Senator Cloud. I've actually even run a couple of ads kind of making fun of that whole activity, where I've had somebody on there acting like an auctioneer, because that's kind of what it becomes with these just throwing around big figures. So I do think essentially that is a misleading thing, and my point is, if they're going to mislead you about that, what else would they mislead you about? Now, having said that, I don't think the government is the right entity to control that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Senator Cloud, what does she think? She thinks that we're just a bunch of plebeians out here that can't think for ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think the general public knows what they're getting into in these sorts of cases. I don't think we need the government actively patrolling that type of advertising. Let the free market decide that. Let people like me make fun, and we can take advantage of that and show that it is, in fact, I think, a misleading activity. But that's only one of the commercials that run. I mean, our lawyers run a myriad of commercials.
Mm-hmm.
And so my fear is that she's going to go after some other kind of advertising next. And that's my biggest concern when government gets involved in anything.
It's been said, Attorney Guirard, that ads like these encourage outrageous lawsuits. Agree or disagree?
Well, I would disagree. I mean, the lawsuits and outrageous, you can only get a lot of money in a lawsuit if you're actually really injured.
Mm-hmm.
And the actual reality is that most cases are not, number one, never go to court. 95% never go to court.
Mm-hmm.
And they're all very small. The typical policy out there on the roads of Louisiana is a $15,000 policy.
Mm-hmm.
So chances are if you get hit by somebody, it's going to be a $15,000 policy. So we're talking about very small claims and large.
Mm-hmm.
And so the reality is people may talk about big claims and being the problem, but those are a rarity, actually, in the real world.
Does the average Louisianian viewing one of these ads on television or hearing an ad on the radio, do they read between the lines when they hear the dollar amount? What does your gut tell you, Eric?
I think some may and some may not, but again, it goes back to I think the government should treat us like adults and like free living citizens. That's my problem with the whole coronavirus thing, with the dictates of these Gestapo-like governors around the country, including ours here to an extent. Let the people make these decisions themselves. Don't come down with oppressive dictates. And I think the same thing holds true here. Let the people decide. I mean, if someone goes too far, then don't send that lawyer any business. That's my solution. And because again, I'm a rarity. I mean, I'm for tort reform, actually. It's just only I'm for a different kind of tort reform.
Right.
And so I think there's a lot of things that can be done to change the system and make it better.
Mm-hmm.
But the biggest thing, Clarence, is the reason there's so many claims and there's so many lawyers on every TV and every billboard is because there's so many accidents. Why doesn't the government do something about reducing the number of accidents? And I'm speaking against my own interest, mind you.
Right.
But if we had stricter licensing, I mean, we give out licenses like candy in this state.
Mm-hmm.
People are driving 6,000-pound death machines. Any other vehicle in society that's driven of that nature, you have to be licensed to the hilt, but not for driving. And you can drive forever. So it's a dangerous situation out there, and people do get hurt, and they need help. They need professional help to battle the professionals on the insurance company side, which is the real problem.
What do you say to the person, Eric, that says, wait a minute, that is the actual amount of the judgment, it's just not how much the person actually received? What do you say to that person? Well,
and that is technically true, but let's just say you have a $500,000 settlement.
Okay.
First thing you look at, the lawyer whacks off 40% of that.
Mm-hmm.
So all of a sudden you're down to $300,000.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to have medical bills. Mm-hmm. And if you're going to be hurt that bad, you're going to have surgery or a bunch of injections in your back or neck or some very expensive medical activities going on, MRIs, CAT scans. And so maybe knock another 100 off of there for medical bills. So now you're down to 200 you're getting out of 500. And then you got what you referenced. There's going to be some expert fees, and there's going to be other costs and various and sundry things. So you'll collect a good payday. You know, you might get 150 to 200 out of that. But believe me, number one, you don't want it in the first place. You don't want to be hurt that bad to get that level of money. But people, I think they intrinsically know that because, I mean, people have been around the block. I mean, they've seen a bunch of these cases all the time. They know family and friends who've gotten a certain amount out of that big number.
Right.
And so I think it's just a red herring, and it's just another way of a politician making some noise to get to take the next step in their career.
Does it end up eventually being a situation where there's always more than one way to skin a cat, meaning if this legislation passes, then attorneys will simply find another way to word the commercial to get the same result? If you hire me as your attorney, I'll get you more money?
Yeah, they will, but remember this, and they will say it a lot of ways. The Bar Association and the Supreme Court already very strictly regulate advertising in this state and in most states now. They have a lot of very strict rules, and all those ads that Senator Cloud's complaining about have already been reviewed by the state bar, and they've been deemed to be not misleading, and they say that they're okay. Every ad that runs on TV or radio or newspaper has to be reviewed and okayed by the Bar Association nowadays. So, you know, the lawyers have a lot of ways of doing it. What they probably should make them do, I would think, they should put some sort of a small disclaimer on there, and that would probably, I would hope, satisfy Senator Cloud. But again, it should be self-policed. It shouldn't be the government making it do it. And it's probably unconstitutional because right now, anyway, the state Supreme Court has jurisdiction over lawyers and lawyer advertising.
As we start to resume normalcy here in the great state of Louisiana, Eric, I noticed this morning lots more vehicles out on the roadways and, of course, Baton Rouge drivers doing what Baton Rouge drivers do. In the event, God forbid, that folks find themselves in a car accident, personal injury case, and they don't want to deal with the mega firms. Instead, they want a smaller firm, local people dealing with local people. How do they go about getting in touch with you and the great folks in your office to get some relief?
I appreciate that. Well, the easiest way is call us on the phone. It's area code 225-800-3333. 225-800-3333. Or my email is very easy. Just the letter E, at eguarantee.com.
Attorney E.
I give people the E-Guarantee. You know that.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. That's why I called you, my friend. Eric, as always, great to talk with you. Say hi to the staff for us and keep fighting on behalf of the great people of the state of Louisiana. We appreciate it sincerely, my friend.
We certainly will. Drive and be safe.
You got it. Consider it done. Driving in this morning, you could tell we are now officially into phase one. Lots more folks out on the highways. And unfortunately, we're going back to our old habits. We refuse to use our signal lights. We refuse to obey the speed limit. We refuse to follow at the proper distance. So remember, the E-Guarantee may be your best bet as you return to normal driving here in the state of Louisiana. We're going to keep an eye on this bill as it works its way through the Louisiana legislature. It passed out of the House onto the Senate late last week, so probably by midweek or so this week, we should see some movement on that particular bill. Will it pass? Will it fail? We'll keep an eye on it and let you know how it all turns out. We've got our first commercial break of hour one just around the corner. When we come back, something that happened over the weekend that really speaks volumes about Louisiana. And I'll be honest with you, it got under my skin. It really did. I'm going to take a little point of privilege after this first commercial break and talk with the community of people that look like me. That's coming up next as we continue hour one of this Monday edition of the Clarence Bugg Show. So grateful that you've allowed us into your homes all across the great state of Louisiana. Keep it right here where you've got it, and we'll knock this quick commercial break, get it out of the way, and come back to continue hour one of the Monday edition of the Clarence Bugg Show right where you've got it, here on the Pelican. Stay close.
I owed the IRS $10,000.
The IRS garnished my wages.
They put a lien on my house.
I'm self-employed and didn't report all my income. They claim I owe a lot more than I do.
The IRS is the most powerful collection agency in the world. They do not give up until you pay.
I couldn't sleep. We were being audited. I called Tax Solutions Now, and a great big weight was lifted off my shoulders.
I called Tax Solutions Now, and they got the IRS off my back.
Tax Solutions Now had my wage garnishment lifted in 48 hours.
Tax Solutions Now can get you help. Our agents know the rules, can stop the pain, and get you the best deal.
Tax Solutions Now saved my business.
I qualified for the Fresh Start program. I paid less than I owed.
We connect you with a team of former IRS agents and tax professionals who get the IRS off your back. Time is running out. Call Tax Solutions now.
Call 800-778-4345. 800-778-4345.
From appetizers, pasta dishes, and entrees, La Contea takes pride in preparing all the Italian cuisine we know you love. Enjoy live music every Thursday through Saturday from 6 to 9, happy hour weekdays from 3 to 6, and brunch on Sundays from 11 to 2, as well as dinner portion-sized lunch specials for under $10. Visit our website to view our menu and book a party or meeting in our large banquet room. Once you try La Contea, your Italian dining will change forever.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent. Depend on us for service, for selection, for price. Get huge Whirlpool savings. Shop now and save on Whirlpool appliances throughout the store. Plus, experience our price match guarantee and ask about special financing. You can depend on the know-how of people who live appliances every day. Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent with nationwide buying power.
Welcome back for hour one of this Monday edition of the Clarence Bug Show. If you were with us as we headed into the last commercial break, you know that I mentioned that in this segment I was going to take a point of personal privilege. It is obligatory when you sit in a chair of this sort and you are blessed to reach the volume of audience that we are here on the Pelican. There are certain things that you are obligated to address when they occur. That goes without saying across the board. As a man of color, that obligation is doubled. And something I learned early on in my now 40th year of broadcasting, as unfair as it is what it is. There are things that a white broadcaster cannot say. I learned this early in my career, and a mentor of mine, Matt Kennedy, was walking by my desk one day and he said, "What you got on the show today, man?" And I told him what I had scheduled for that day. And I said, "You ought to talk about this. This is important." And Matt just burst out laughing. And initially I was going to get a little insulted because he was laughing hysterically. And I said, "Wait a minute, man, this is not funny. Why won't you talk about this?" He said, "Clarence, you don't get it. I'm white. I can't talk about this." I said, "Wait a minute, man. This is important and it affects the African American community." He said, "Clarence, you'll learn, my naive brother. There are things you can talk about because you're black. I can't talk about it because of the way it would be perceived because I'm white." I said, "Matt, that's insane and it's unfair." He kind of nodded his head and said, "Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly, but you'll learn." So as I have gone through all these decades of broadcasting, I've come to the stark reality that I am obligated to address certain things whether I want to or not. Why? Because in many instances, I will be the only one that the African American community will accept this from. This past weekend, Dominique James, young man murdered in Bogalusa, had a memorial service. After the funeral, folks gathered together for what is traditionally the repast, but in this instance, it consisted of a march. Large number of people gathered together for this march. Around 9 o'clock that night, some, and I got to be careful here, miscreant, for lack of a better word, drove by this march and opened fire, shooting 13 people, one of them, sadly, left in critical condition. This is about as low as you can go. What kind of misguided, oh, I wish this was Sirius XM so I could say what I'm really thinking. What kind of lowlife opens fire on a funeral march? 13 people shot. I don't know what disturbs me most, that some individual would take it upon himself to do this, or the fact that not a single eyewitness as of yesterday had come forth to volunteer information to law enforcement to help solve this crime. So many times in the black community we hear, well, if this was the white community, they would have solved the crime by now. Well, yeah, and you're probably right. But you're right because white people would call the police and volunteer information. Law enforcement does not possess this room filled with crystal balls where they can look into the crystal ball and solve the crime. We have to step forward and give them the tools they need to solve the crimes. Now, some would say, well, Clarence, they're not volunteering information because they want to hand out some street justice. They want to, quote, take care of it themselves. That is about as ignorant an approach to being a civic-minded person as you will ever encounter. Let's see. You want to end up with yourself in jail to solve a crime that will land someone in jail. Duh, that's about as stupid an approach to living as you will ever encounter. Listen, y'all, we are supposed to be better than this. And until the African American community decides we are sick and tired of being sick and tired and we're not going to take this foolishness anymore, it will not get any better. This is one of us talking to all of us. And it's time, y'all. It is time we take back our communities right now. And I know you can go biblical if you want and say, well, Clarence, God told us that a time is going to come where parents will be afraid of their children. Well, we've arrived at that point. But quite frankly, we should all be sick and tired of living in homes with burglar bars on every window and every door. We should be sick and tired of not being able to go and celebrate someone's life because we are afraid some clown is going to drive by and open fire. It's the United States of America. It is 2020. We should be sick and tired of this by now. And the only way it's going to change is if we decide to send a very strong message. At the end of the day, this is our community. At the end of the day, this is a problem that we have allowed to flourish. And at the end of the day, the only way the problem is going to be solved is if we decide to solve it. We can't put this one on the white folks. We cannot. This one lands firmly in our laps. And the only way to change it is to decide we've had enough, and we're not going to be sick and tired of being sick and tired anymore. There is no way on God's green earth you can tell me 13 people shot with all these people there and nobody saw anything? So now, in addition, you're telling me to COVID-19, we have mass blindness taking place in the city of Bogalusa? I ain't buying it. I'm not buying it. When all is said and done, all of us deserve to live in communities that are safe. All of us deserve the right to be able to go and celebrate someone's life without having to do it in fear of losing our own. This one is on us. No two ways about it. And the sooner you and I decide we're going to cooperate with law enforcement, we are going to cooperate with Neighborhood Watch, we are going to cooperate with Crime Stoppers, the sooner we can put an end to this sort of foolishness. I understand a lot of folks are going stir crazy. I understand a lot of people have cabin fever. But if you have been watching the number of shootings, Baton Rouge, New Orleans, now Bogalusa, and God knows where else, you realize we are returning to a very ugly trend. We had managed, through the stay-home orders and the fear of catching COVID-19, we had managed to get a handle on this thing. But now we are heading right back down the same road that we were speeding along, heading towards that cliff of self-destruction. I, for one, am not comfortable allowing this to happen, which is why I decided to take a point of privilege and talk to the community of people that look like I do. We've got to do something, y'all, and the sooner the better. The fact of the matter is, we're better than this. We are too blessed to live in the greatest country on the face of this earth. We are too blessed to have access to resources that people are willing to put their lives at stake to get into this country to take part in. And what are we doing with them? We are the least educated, the most incarcerated, the least healthy, and now we are killing each other like 40 going north. Somebody needs to say something, and make me the bad guy if you will. I don't mind. Sitting in this chair all these years has toughened my skin up, and I don't mind it one bit. As a matter of fact, use me if it helps to spur the conversation. The next time you're with your friends, tell them, look, man, I saw this new show the other day. There's a black guy hosting. You ever heard of the Clarence Bug Show? Man, he went off talking about the people in Bogalusa and this clown that shot 13 people at a funeral march of all places. What do you think about this? Put the monkey on my back. Now the conversation can start. And from there, you pick it up and run with it. It is obvious we've not had this conversation among the African American community nearly as much as we need to. If anything, this past weekend has once again reiterated we need to have this conversation, y'all, and we need it desperately. Our children and the future of black folks in this country is at stake. If coronavirus doesn't wipe us out, we will wipe ourselves out. And say what you will about the white supremacists and this group and that group, they're sitting back saying, we don't need to do our job anymore because black folks are going to do it for us. Is that really what we want? Is it really what we want? And at the end of the day, aren't we better than this? Whew. Had to get that off my chest. In the weeks ahead, we're going to initiate a new segment in the show, Brother to Brother. Former State Senator Elbert Guillory, staunch, like yours truly, conservative. We're going to talk brother to brother, two brothers talking about issues facing brothers. Because God knows, after watching what happened in Bogalusa recently, we need it. Still to come in today's show. The Louisiana Department of Wildlife and Fisheries starting the process of reopening. Ed Pratt joins us after this commercial break, right where you've got it, here on the Pelican. Stay close.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Fruget Jr., and I am a general dentist at Fruget Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
For total home pest control, who are you going to call?
Call the Bug Man, 923-BUGS.
For total pest control for your home or business, call the original Salvat.
Call the Bug Man today, 923-BUGS.
They said I could find you here. Why are you fishing? Our company's got to ship out 2 full color brochures and 20 color copies. You're killing me.
It's done. Designed, printed, packaged, and shipped.
How?
You just got to know the right people. Baker Printing, the printing people.
How come you get to fish in this private lake?
Like I said, you just got to know the right people. You can know the right people too.
Welcome back to hour one of the Monday edition of the Clarence Bug Show. And yes, I've calmed down now. The blood pressure has eased back down. Just yesterday, as a matter of fact, I pull up an intersection and there's a truck in front of me that says, and I'll paraphrase because I can't remember the exact quote, but what it said was, kids that are raised hunting and fishing don't end up stealing and dealing. And I am a living testament to that. I was one of those that was so fortunate with a father that loved to fish and appreciated the great outdoors and the bounty that Louisiana has to offer. And he got my brother and I started fishing early in life. And I look at many others my age, similar backgrounds and upbringing, that did not have that privilege, and how many of them ended up going down a wayward path. I say all this to say that the Louisiana Department of Wildlife and Fisheries, like so many others around the state of Louisiana, has started the reopening process. As a matter of fact, the LDWF offices here in Baton Rouge opened on Friday and are opening statewide today. Ed Pratt is with the Louisiana Department of Wildlife and Fisheries and joins us for this segment. Mr. Pratt, how are you today, my friend?
I am doing wonderfully. It's a beautiful day, and I like what I do every day, so it's a good day.
Do you realize how blessed you are to wake up every day and go to a job where you like what you do?
Well, look, I look at people who are upset and they grumble and stuff, but not me. I'm here every day. As a matter of fact, I'm supposed to be in at 8. I get here at 7:30.
So what sort of protocols can we expect if we visit, for whatever reason, an office of the Louisiana Department of Wildlife and Fisheries?
I'm glad you asked that. Let me tell you. What we expect is when you come up to the office, you have to have some kind of mask or face covering. And we do that not only for the person that's coming in for their safety, but also the safety of our workers.
Right.
Because the people who will greet you and take you and get the information that you need,
they need to feel that they're safe, and we require our customers to have on a mask. When you come in, we'll have information for you that directs you to whatever you need to have done. Also, we'll have sanitizer there for you to do your hands and stuff. And the whole thing is, everything else works the way it always works. We'll take care of your licenses and all that kind of stuff that you need to do. But you have to do those protocols. And also, you'll be 6 feet apart. If we have a line outside, of course, you'll be 6 feet apart. Also, if offices where there's a waiting room, we have spaced out the chairs so that you're at least 6 feet apart from everybody at all times until your name is called to come to the window and take care of your information. So, but more than anything, be prepared for the social distancing, and also be prepared and you have to have a mask or face covering.
One of the benefits, Ed, of a lot of folks having so much downtime recently is that many of us have been able to get out and rediscover the bounty that Louisiana has to offer in our great outdoors. Recently, you all were able to reopen Elmer's Island for public use. What sort of rules do we have to observe there?
The same thing with Elmer's Island. We opened it Friday, but there's also social distancing. We're asking stay 6 feet apart, but also groups of 10 or less. Try to keep your groups to that limit. That helps us. That helps you, and it's a safety measure that's part of the Phase 1 opening that came from the White House, by the way. And we're trying to maintain that on Elmer's Island. We encourage everybody to do that, and we think if people do that, they'll have a wonderful and safe outing down there. And we wish more people would come down there and have a good time.
I know that because of the COVID-19 pandemic and everyone playing safe, a lot of the wildlife management areas, the WMAs, were forced to close. What is the status of those as we speak, Ed?
As we speak, all of the WMAs across the state are open, and we're happy we're able to do that because we had to close a lot of them. But now they're all open. But it's the same thing, the same protocols and all. You're outside. Try to hold your groups to less than 10. Stay 6 feet apart. But just think about this. This is the beautiful areas that you're able to walk and have a good time and see nature. And we have 64 WMAs, but they encompass 1.4 million acres of beautiful land here in the state. So take advantage of that. Find out on our website when yours are open that are nearby. But take a chance. Go out there and see it and have a great time. But please obey the safe distancing and the limit on the number of people in a group.
As the weather starts to warm up now and we start relaxing more of the stay-home restrictions, obviously folks are going to be getting out more, and here in Louisiana, that means a lot more folks are taking to the water. We are right now in the middle of Safe Boating Week. What's the emphasis for the Louisiana Department of Wildlife and Fisheries and Safe Boating Week?
Well, the main thing in Safe Boating Week, the name says it all. Do the right things when you're in a boat and you're in the water. And our main thing is always wear a life jacket.
Yes.
Always. People say, well, I know how to swim, but everybody knows how to swim until something happens and they fall off the boat.
Right.
And there's danger lurking there. Also, you have children. Make sure not only that you have your life jacket on, but put their life jackets on first. And then before you put yours on, make sure they have theirs on. But also when you're on the water, you have an obligation to be a clear-thinking driver of the boat.
Yes.
So be sober. If you're not the driver, make sure the whomever it is that is the driver of the boat, that person is sober at all times. And those things limit the possibility of accidents when you have a clear-headed driver who knows what they're doing and is alert. But we can't say it enough. Wear your life jackets at all times.
I know at one time the Louisiana Department of Wildlife and Fisheries offered a free boating safety course. Is that still the case? And if so, how can boaters access that, Ed?
Well, that's still the case, but you just go to our website at our Wildlife and Fisheries website, and then you could just plug in boater safety, and it'll take you right to whatever you need to know about the classes that we have involved in that. And those classes you can get those online.
I know that recently I saw an article where your agents arrested some individuals for a hit and run on the water, an accident involving 2 recreational fishing vessels. Remind us again, if you would, Ed Pratt, about the Louisiana Department of Wildlife and Fisheries agents' enforcement powers.
Well, I'll give you 2 things here. One, on that investigation where this person was arrested for hit and run.
Right.
It took us a couple weeks or so to finally arrest the person who did it. But we investigated it, and because people were hurt, and it was important to us that we find out the person who did this.
Right.
But I want to let people know our agents have all of the powers that any other enforcement officer in the state has. Whatever state police can do, whatever your city police could do, whatever your sheriff's office could do, our officers do the same thing. Now, we are focused on what happens on where you're hunting and fishing and you're on one of the WMAs or something like that.
Right.
That's our focus. But if a state police, if a wildlife and fisheries enforcement officer is riding down the street and see that you're riding in a reckless manner, they can stop you and they can arrest you. They can give you a ticket for that. But they can do everything else that any law enforcement agency or agent can do. We do it all. But like I said, our focus is the water and the WMAs and the areas around the waters and that sort of thing. So always respect when you see that wildlife and fisheries sticker on an enforcement vehicle, because they can enforce any law that's out there.
You know, many times, Ed, it may sound to a lot of people like an oversimplification. But the fact of the matter is, with so many people having so much free time these days, kids not in school, no structured activities, get those kids out of the house, get them out, expose them to the great outdoors, let them get out and go fishing. I mean, there's no feeling to compare to the look on a kid's face when they catch their very first fish. It really is true, is it not, that kids that are exposed to the great outdoors, kids that develop that love of fishing, hunting, the great outdoors, they have a leg up in life, and many times that can end up determining whether or not they go down the wrong road, correct?
Well, I can say this. Young people who get out there and fish, they develop a love for the outdoors. They develop a love for for friends and relatives and that sort of thing. Because I took my son fishing his first time he went fishing.
Right.
And he caught a small fish. It was awesome for him.
Right.
But not only was it awesome for him, it was awesome for me to watch him love that.
Right.
And so it's a great idea to get out there and do this sort of thing. If you want to take your kid hunting, but teach them the right way to do things, and always stay within the rules and stuff like that. Don't teach them the shortcuts.
Right.
Teach them every step that they need to take when they're fishing and hunting, the rules and all of that. And we see so many great things happen with young people. And I'll tell you one other thing, Clarence. We have different groups that we work with who take kids from the inner city. They take kids a lot of other kids who don't have, the father and mother's home
right.
life, and we get them out there. and they love it out there. And you know what happens? They want to go more.
Wow.
And they want to take other people with them. And then they find out, could you take me again?
Right.
That's the kind of thing that getting out there on the water does for young people, and you just see the joy in their faces, and it means a lot.
If there's someone watching this show right now, and we've kind of, pardon the pun, set the hook in them, but they don't have the expertise, they don't have the experience, does Wildlife and Fisheries offer any resources they can lean on to get them started and consequently bring their kids in on this as well?
We tell people, go to our website, and you can plug in fishing training, or you can do anything like that. And we teach people how to teach people to fish.
Awesome.
And so you can go on our website and find those type of training classes and stuff like that, and you'll be out there and you'll be taught how to fish. I've gone to some of those classes myself to see how we do that.
Right.
And it's an amazing thing how we show people how to set a hook, how to cast the line, and how to pull the fish in and all of that.
Right.
But if you go to our website and then you look for that kind of info, you can just plug in that information and it'll take you to one of the different sites that we have that where you can get that kind of help for yourself, and you can take some of those classes.
So how do we get that web address? What's the website to go to, Ed?
You can just go to LDWF.com, and you should be able to find us. Or you can go to Louisiana. You can go just plug in Wildlife and Fisheries, Louisiana Department of Wildlife and Fisheries, and that'll take you to our website.
Fantastic. By the way, my friend, I love that press pic. Looks like you're about 35, 40 years old.
I'm trying to figure out which one you got, because both, even if you got the one I took a couple of days ago, I still look 35, 40.
Ed Pratt with the Louisiana Department of Wildlife and Fisheries. Great stuff. Hopefully you all will have a banner year with more people getting out and enjoying the great outdoors in Louisiana than we've ever had before. Thank you for the time, my friend.
Thank you.
You're quite welcome. Get those guys and those girls out in the great outdoors of Louisiana. Trust me, they will love you for it. Final break of hour one, we get her done. And we'll come back, put a big old bow, and wrap up hour one of today's edition of the Clarence Bugg Show, right where you've got it, here on the Pelican. Stay close.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
Exiles from what, you ask? Exiled from the radio, but now we're on your television.
I'm Bill Profita, he's Kevin Gallagher, and they kicked us to the curb.
But we're back.
We are back with Exiles Television on the Pelican Broadcasting Network. We're going to bring you the newsmakers. We're also going to take your calls and give you great information. It's going to be the best damn radio show on television.
Look for it on your cable system or download the app, PelicanSportsTV.com.
From appetizers, pasta dishes, and entrees, La Contea takes pride in preparing all the Italian cuisine we know you love. Enjoy live music every Thursday through Saturday from 6 to 9, happy hour weekdays from 3 to 6, and brunch on Sundays from 11 to 2, as well as dinner portion-sized lunch specials for under $10. Visit our website to view our menu and book a party or meeting in our large banquet room. Once you try La Contea, your Italian dining will change forever.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to greystonecountryclub.com.
One of today's edition of the Clarence Bug Show. Thank you, Marty. I saw, I appreciate you more than I can say, my friend. One of the unfortunate side effects, if you will, of this COVID-19 pandemic and the stay-home orders all across the state of Louisiana, and I guess for any state in particular, but specifically for Louisiana, is the hit that the tourism industry has taken. It is something that you hear all the time about the interconnectivity of the world at large. But here in the state of Louisiana, our tourism industry affects so many other aspects of the economy in general. Think about it. It's not just a hotel, because a hotel has to be staffed with individuals in the restaurant, at the front desk, in the housekeeping portion, parking, depending on the size of the hotel, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. All of these are individuals that, like you and I, live here, work here, shop here, worship here, and all of those individuals end up taking a hit as far as their livelihood is concerned. I would imagine it is probably worse in the city of New Orleans because they were hit so much harder than the city of Baton Rouge. But right now, Baton Rouge hotels are running at about a 30% occupancy rate. That is roughly, give or take a few percentage points here or there, about half of what it should be for this time of year. As we start to ease these restrictions, and more people are looking for ways to help boost the local economy, a staycation is a great idea. Think about it in these terms. If you and the family, you and the missus, you as an individual, decide that you're going to spend a couple of days at a hotel in the city in which you live, whether it's New Orleans or Baton Rouge or Lafayette, Lake Charles, wherever, anywhere in the Pelican broadcast reach. Staying in a hotel means in all likelihood you are also not going to eat at home. You're going to eat at a restaurant, whether it's room service, whether it's takeout at a restaurant that's open in the area. So the money that you spend is going to end up turning over and over and over, meaning you don't just spend money at a hotel. Individuals that live in that city work at that hotel, so they earn a paycheck. They, in turn, will take the money they earn from your stay at their hotel. They will go and spend that money at a local clothing store, at a local grocery store, at a local entertainment venue. Those individuals that earn a living from them spending money at the grocery store, the clothing store, the entertainment venue, they take that money and they, in turn, go and spend that money at another restaurant, a clothing store, an entertainment venue, and it perpetuates itself over and over and over again. In the past, prior to the stay-home order, folks from out of town that have heard about this wonderful cuisine in Louisiana, this wonderful music in Louisiana, the Mardi Gras parades, the Sugar Bowl festivities, all these things that people travel from all around the world to come in and sample the culture, the architecture, the rich history. We were able to rely strictly on those individuals throughout time, through the efforts of some great folks with our Louisiana Department of Culture, Recreation, and Tourism, they've put the word out to the degree that folks travel from as far away as China. I'll leave that alone. They will travel as far as China to come to Louisiana and sample what we have here. Until we develop back to that point, it is incumbent upon us to pick up the slack there. And I understand, Clarence, I can't believe you asking me to go stay at a hotel. You know how slim my dollars are right now? I understand that. We never ask that you give until it hurts. All we ask is that you give. Even if it's just one night, the folks in the hotel industry will love you for that. The folks in the restaurant industry will love you for that. Because again, these are individuals that live where we live. They work where we work. They play where we play. They worship where we worship. They would appreciate it sincerely. And quite frankly, at the end of the day, being brutally honest about this, I don't think our tourism industry is going to rebound nearly as fast as other industries. And unfortunately, for a state like ours that is so heavily dependent upon tourism, it's probably not what you want to hear. But quite frankly, we've got to be realistic about these things. And when I look at this, take off the rose-colored glasses and look at it for what it is, I have to realize people are not going to travel until a number of things happen. Number one, their disposable income returns. Typically, when you take a trip to a place like Louisiana, you've been planning that for a while. I want to go to Bourbon Street. I want to go see Tiger Stadium. I want to go and look at some of these wildlife management areas that Ed Pratt was talking about. So you plan that in advance. You're going to stay in a hotel. You're going to eat some of this fabulous food. We're going to go to some of these great entertainment venues and listen to some jazz and some of that Louisiana music. But you can't do that without disposable income. All across this country and all across the world, for that matter, folks have taken a hit to their disposable income. So it's going to be a while before they're able to squirrel enough money away to take that long-awaited trip to Louisiana. That's one thing that will impact tourism. Number two, a lot of folks are not going to venture to trips of this sort until COVID-19 is brought under control. Either there's a vaccine that they are comfortable with, or we decide, you know what, maybe there's a little more to this social distancing thing and the face masks out in public. Maybe we need to be sure that we do our part so that folks from other parts of the country, from other parts of the world, will be comfortable coming to Louisiana. Those two things in particular, the state of the COVID-19 pandemic and the return of disposable income, will probably have the largest impact on our tourism industry than any other things that you could combine. One of those is not within our control, the return of disposable income. That is going to be what it's going to be. But the other is certainly within our control. We can show the rest of the nation and the rest of the world that Louisiana is on top of this thing, and we are reopening ourselves for business, and there is nothing that we would love more than to have people come here and do, as we like to say in Louisiana, pass a good time. Actually, it's more than just passing a good time. Spend some money for tourism. If we do our part, the rest will take care of itself. Still to come. In today's show, we are heading to the top of the hour break, but after we get that done, some good news for folks in recreation here in the southern part of our state. Our nationally recognized and acclaimed Recreation and Parks Commission, better known, affectionately known as BREC, starting the reopening process in phase 1. And of course, we will talk more about what you can do to help Louisiana recover as we make our way through this. And also, don't want to forget, as the reopening process continues, A lot more folks now getting in their cars, getting out on the highway. And this time of year, that means a lot more of our friends on two wheels will be on the highways. Got to be sure that we're on the lookout for them. Scotty Drake with the Motorcycle Awareness Campaign will join us with a little bit of a refresher, because the last thing we want, quite frankly, get through COVID only to see a rash of motorcycle fatalities on our highways. That's still to come on today's edition of the Clarence Bugg Show. Stay close.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
For total home pest control, who are you going to call?
Call the Bug Man, 923-BUGS.
For total pest control for your home or business, call the original Salvant.
Call the Bug Man today, 923-BUGS.
Welcome back as we start hour 2 of the Monday edition of the Clarence Bugg Show. Once again, here's hoping that your weekend was an absolutely wonderful weekend. If not, well, as we like to say each and every Monday, sometimes twice a day on Monday, if you didn't have a great weekend, good Lord willing, you will still be here when the next one comes our way, and you'll have the opportunity to try it all over again. If you did not have as wonderful a weekend as you could have, let me venture a guess. Maybe it was because, at least here in the capital region, you didn't get out and enjoy some of the fabulous facilities that our nationally recognized and acknowledged Recreation and Parks Commission, affectionately known as BREC, has to offer. Well, if you didn't, great news. They are ushering in phase 1 and the reopening, so there's more stuff than ever for you to do to get out and enjoy the great outdoors here in the capital region. Cheryl Michelet is Director of Communications with BREC and joins us to start hour 2. Cheryl, good morning, and how are you today?
Good morning, Clarence. I'm doing great. How are you?
I am well. Thank you for asking. So, phase 1 of reopening, what is that going to encompass for BREC?
Well, as you know, our trails and green spaces have been open. They never closed.
Right.
So those were always available to people. But now they'll be able to walk the trails at Bluebonnet Swamp Nature Center. Visit our dog parks, except for Burbank. The soccer complex is still closed, but the other dog parks are open. Magnolia Mounds, self-guided tours on those beautiful grounds are available. Tennis centers, which a lot of people have been asking about, those are open. Neighborhood practice fields didn't close, but we are reminding people that they can be used. We just ask no full team practices. Needs to be group under 10 people. And public restrooms and recreation centers in our community parks are also open as of today.
I would imagine with all of these facilities, you are asking people to continue our, quote, new normal as far as social distancing, hygiene, et cetera, et cetera?
Yes. In fact, people will see signage that we worked on around the clock last week to make sure that there are reminders. Even when you're just outside on trails, we need you to remember that. If you're going into a building, your temperature will be taken. We will have hand sanitizing stations, and we'll have markers like you see in the grocery stores that tell you how to stand if there's any lines where you're keeping a 6-foot distance.
Right.
And one of the largest facilities that we're really excited about that'll be reopening this week is the zoo. It's members only today through the 20th, so they can get all the kinks out like the golf courses did, and then they will reopen to the public on May 21st.
We have all had to adjust our way of thinking and the terminology that we've all become accustomed to. And of course, phase 1 is what everybody has been looking forward to. But it's my understanding that BREC has a 3-phase reopening. Is that correct?
Yeah, what we're doing is mirroring the governor's plans as well as the federal plan.
Right.
And so we have been working on future phases, although we're not announcing them because, just to be honest, we feel like things may change. And so we may put something out there and then have to pull it back, just depending on what happens. Just for an example, we kept our playgrounds closed, but had we announced before the governor issued the order in writing, we could have said playgrounds were open and then found out that they were included in the governor's plan as not allowed to be open.
Right.
And so we just want to make sure that we're following all of the recommendations and guidelines, and we're striving to keep a balance. We want people out in our parks getting the healthy activity that they need, but we also have to make sure that they're safe as well as our staff is safe. So that's why we are putting in some restrictions.
We are approaching the point of the year that is probably, arguably, the most popular of all for BREC. When you start talking about summer and summer camps. Now, understanding some people may not quite be comfortable getting out just yet, or comfortable putting their kids in a summer camp setting just yet. BREC, thinking outside the box for us once again, is offering some great virtual summer experiences as well, right?
Yes. In fact, that'll be our next announcement, and I'm expecting to release that early this week. I don't even have all the details yet, but I can tell you that the first week in June, camps will be virtual, and we are working with some other camp providers to offer virtual experiences all throughout the summer.
Awesome.
And then June 8th will be face-to-face camps. And we may just announce June and then see if restrictions loosen in July, and we might be able to serve more kids. But we are working on plans to serve as many children as we can safely. And when people have to go back to work, we know they need camps. Because it's going to be different and not as many kids, we are limiting it to East Baton Rouge families only. We do serve families in other parishes, but we're just not going to have the capacity this year. And we'll also probably help promote in the past what we might have called our competitors, just to make sure that families know there are multiple options available because everybody is going to have limited space.
When I think about what BREC's mission is, your administrative offices, I think I did my radio show from there 1 year, and I was amazed at the number of people. But after thinking about what it is that you do, it only stands to reason that you're going to have all sorts of foot traffic coming in to inquire about this, that, and the other. What sort of protocols are in place as we enter phase one reopening for your administrative offices?
Most people that work in the administrative office that can work at home will continue to work from home, but there will be more people in the office today. Before you come in, you'll have your temperature taken. There will be hand sanitizer stations around, wearing masks, but we're not doing any rentals yet, and the programming is limited enough that I don't expect to see much of the public in that building until phase two.
Okay. Are you hoping the silver lining in all of this, Cheryl, is that folks will take even more advantage of our nationally recognized Parks and Recreation Commission and use this for health benefits?
Yes, you mentioned our mission, and our mission is for the health of the community. And I feel like we have seen more people out discovering trails, discovering green spaces that they may not have experienced before.
Right.
You see people riding bikes. The gotcha bikes have had great use. And what I hope is that parks are looked at as a solution for the underlying health conditions that made this virus so difficult for our state. We have a lot of high blood pressure or obesity, diabetes. Parks are a solution for that, and they're free. So I know it gets hot, but just get out, get your vitamin D, get your healthy activity, use it for stress relief, but most of all, use it for your physical and mental health.
So how can we find out more about exactly what is reopened, what is being considered, and the protocols that are expected? How do we find out all this information, Cheryl?
It is all on our website, and we have a page. It's BREC.org/COVID-19, and it spells out everything for you there. We also have BREC.org/refresh, which is where you'll find a lot of the virtual offerings. We've done, I think it was at last count, over 54 videos, activity sheets, coloring books in English and Spanish.
Wow.
So for people who are still going to spend most of their time indoors, refresh is the page for you, and then when you want to get outside and use a BREC facility, go to the COVID-19 page.
I would be remiss in my duties, Cheryl, if I did not take time to ask, how is the BREC family faring as far as employees and COVID-19?
We have actually, for the number of people that we employ, the height of the summer, we'll employ as many as 1,200 people.
Wow.
And normally we have about 800. We've had 6 employees diagnosed with the virus, all recovering or have recovered.
Fantastic.
So that's good. You know, with that large of a staff, you've had people, had family members that, you know, weren't maybe as fortunate with hospitalizations or even a few that have lost family members. So just like the rest of the public, it's been difficult, but I have been surprised at the low numbers for as many people as we employ. And probably because we did go to teleworking before the governor's order even came out.
Right. Well, we look forward to checking back in with you, hopefully, as we get past phase 1 and usher in phase 2 and this ever so gradual return to normalcy. Thank you so much for the time. Cheryl Michelet, Director of Communications for BREC, and we love you for giving us an outlet to be able to deal with the stress, the emotion, and the physical well-being behind the COVID-19 pandemic. Thank you so kindly, Cheryl.
And thank you, and I will always be available to you. You just call and I'm there.
Bless your heart. Cheryl Michelet, stay safe.
You too.
You're quite welcome. All right, first break of hour number 2. We'll get that done, and we will continue rolling on right where you've got it. The Clarence Bugg Show here on the Pelican. Stay close.
Sometimes life is wonderful, and sometimes it's not. Cherish the good, but always be prepared for life's challenges. At Private Healthcare, we provide the peace of mind you deserve. With Private Healthcare, you'll get the coverage you want and healthcare you need. If your employer doesn't supply healthcare coverage and you don't qualify for Medicare or Medicaid, you need to give us a call right now. Private healthcare is private health insurance for ages 65 and under with medical, dental, vision, and even prescription coverage. When life comes at you unexpectedly, you need to be ready, and health insurance is your financial safety net. Health insurance has never been so easy and affordable. If you're looking for health coverage at the best price and your annual household income is $35,000 or more, call the number on the screen now and speak with a live healthcare consultant. Don't wait. Get the coverage you need now.
E.Eric Guirard is back, but where has he been?
Wait, the word was that he was training to be a sumo wrestler.
Rated E.
That's right, the Clarence Bugg Show is back, along with the Exiles, Bill Profita and Kevin Gallagher. We put the band back together, South Louisiana's talk team, and it's only on the Pelican. 10 a.m. till 12 noon, right here on the Pelican.
From appetizers, pasta dishes, and entrees, La Contea takes pride in preparing all the Italian cuisine we know you love. Enjoy live music every Thursday through Saturday from 6 to 9, happy hour weekdays from 3 to 6, and brunch on Sundays from 11 to 2, as well as dinner portion-sized lunch specials for under $10. Visit our website to view our menu and book a party or meeting in our large banquet room. Once you try La Contea, your Italian dining will change forever.
Thank you, Mighty, of the Monday edition of the Clarence Bugg Show. I don't mind telling y'all at all. I have gotten a renewed sense of vim and vigor. And it's no secret, if you've listened to me on radio for God knows how many years, you know I am a huge NASCAR fan. Yeah, I know, black redneck. I've heard all the jokes. Doesn't bother me at all. I just love what I love. And yesterday, with the boys, as I affectionately refer to them, returning to the track at Darlington, oh man, and I'll can't believe I'm gonna tell you all this, but you know it's no big secret among folks that know me. I got a new 4K TV, much larger screen than what I've had before, and that's the way to watch NASCAR. Oh my God, yesterday was just unbelievable. Surround sound, the whole nine. So all of you that are, you know, jonesing for football or the baseball season or the NBA, you have my deepest sympathies. But I'm not going to stop watching to make y'all feel better. I'm just saying. The rest of us that are NASCAR fans, yesterday was certainly a most welcomed relief. Now, in that vein, we all know that the coronavirus and the resulting pandemic has wreaked havoc on sports, organized sports, particularly professional sports, and it's trickled all the way down to high schools and the like. As a matter of fact, the Louisiana High School Athletic Association, acronym LHSAA, had planned to have their summer rules go into effect May 17th, but they voted unanimously on Wednesday, May 13th, to push that back. Monday, June 8th is now the target date when summer workouts can begin. The reason they pushed this back is to coincide with the alignment of the Phase 2 reopening timeline set forth by Governor John Bel Edwards. There will be some stipulations, however, with this June 8th date. It will be limited to groups of 25, including coaches, and they can start convening then. LHSAA Executive Director Eddie Bonine says one of the main reasons for this decision is so that all schools will have more time to implement sanitation protocols and infrastructure. The spring season was originally postponed on March 16th and then canceled for the remainder of the season for April 9th. I don't want to read more into this than is there, but it is certainly a welcome sign when the Louisiana High School Athletic Association looks at the proposed timeline by Governor John Bel Edwards and sets into motion as it stands now. And of course, this is all contingent upon you and I conducting ourselves in as safe a manner as possible, keeping the new case numbers as low as possible. Hopefully, June 8th, we will be able to see groups of 25, including coaches, starting the summer workouts. It is something that goes without saying. We all desperately are hoping for football this fall. June 8th, if all goes according to plan, this will be the first step in that direction for high school football. And if, in fact, we are able to pull this off, then the next, quote, hurdle that we'll have to deal with, I would imagine, would be along the lines of what sort of crowds are we going to be able to entertain in high school stadiums if, in fact, we are able to have high school football this fall. Regardless of what it is, I cannot stress enough how important our participation is going to be, not only from a fan standpoint, but our dollars. It goes without saying, the state of Louisiana is going to take a huge financial hit. How much support from the federal government is going to be used to prop up, for lack of a better phrase, education in Louisiana? Only time will tell. But as you well know, the fall is the opportunity for many schools to bolster their coffers. You and I spend a lot of money on tickets, concessions, the whole nine when it comes to football season. And to think compounding the economic hit that many high schools across the state of Louisiana will take because of this pandemic, the stay-home orders, less than full stadiums, the whole nine, is something that will have a ripple effect if we don't support our schools the way we should. And as a matter of fact, every year we end up revisiting, and it's just cyclical. It's a part of the natural cycle of things. There are probably hundreds of thousands of people watching right now that ever since they graduated from high school, they have not set foot back on that high school campus. And this is not a knock. I understand. Life goes on. You go to college, you get into the workforce, you start raising a family. You no longer have time to do the things that you used to do religiously. Your regimen has changed. I understand that. Clarence, you can't expect me to go back to the high school for the football games. I got other obligations on Saturdays. I understand that. On Fridays. I get that. But this is the future that we're talking about here. These are our kids. They need our support. And quite frankly, there's no one else to do this for them but us. It falls squarely in our laps. And at the end of the day, the teachers, the support personnel, the administrators, these are our neighbors, they're our friends, they're our fellow Louisianians. And in a lot of instances, that disposable income that we use on Friday night, that helps schools pay people throughout the course of the year. So may not be a bad idea now, understanding that for a lot of us, money is at a premium right now. Start thinking down the road, because it's going to be here before you know it. We're going to get through this hot, muggy, humid South Louisiana summer, as it always is, and before you know it, football season is going to be knocking on the door. And like so many other aspects of our lives these days, you got to prepare for things. Start thinking in advance and down the road. I was thinking just last night how amazing it is going to be if, in fact, we are able to pull this off when the first time in the last week of August, first week of September, we hear dun, 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 dun. Can you imagine how amazing that's going to be when you hear the human jukebox rounding that curve coming into Mumford Stadium for the first time, and you hear them crank up with that old Southern spirit? Oh my God, I get goosebumps just thinking about it. Not to mention the Golden Girls and the dancing dolls and all the pageantry that comes along with it. It is something that has given us a renewed appreciation for what we have. And listen, it's human nature. The things that you have all the time, you kind of take them for granted. But just imagine no longer being able to watch the Golden Band from Tigerland come down Victory Hill. Your life would not be the same. Just imagine not being able to see the drum major for the human jukebox do that back bend, go down and bring the band onto the field. Your life would not be as rich as it could be. Just listening to the jukebox as they play to the crowd after the game is over, your life would not be as rich as it could be. Hopefully, it has given us a renewed appreciation for the things that we have here in the great state of Louisiana. And, of course, along with that appreciation comes a responsibility to support it. Speaking of responsibilities, as we get into phase one, this reopening, more and more people now returning to work, more and more people able to get out and about, more and more cars on the highways. And this time of year, as the weather warms up, more and more of our friends on two wheels, motorcyclists, will be sharing the road with us. Got to be aware, guys, girls. And as a matter of fact, in recent memory, you may have noticed billboards, commercials, signs all over the state of Louisiana with the M.A.C, Motorcycle Awareness Campaign. Scotty Drake, the Director of Communications and Marketing for the Motorcycle Awareness Campaign, will join us after this next commercial break. Just think how awful it would be to have us get through the coronavirus pandemic, do all we can, be responsible, lower the number of fatalities, only to turn right back around, start the reopening process, and see an increase in the number of fatalities because we've got other things on our mind and we're not paying attention while behind the wheel. Hopefully, that won't be the case. We'll spend some time with Scotty Drake and bring your awareness back to where it should be. But first, bottom of the hour break, right where you've got it. Hour 2 of the Clarence Bugg Show here on the Pelican. Stay close.
For total home pest control, who are you going to call?
Call the Bug Man, 923-BUGS.
For total pest control for your home or business, call the original Salvant.
Call the Bug Man today, 923-BUGS.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to greystonecountryclub.com.
Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent. Depend on us for service, for selection, for price. Get huge Whirlpool savings. Shop now and save on Whirlpool appliances throughout the store. Plus, experience our price match guarantee and ask about special financing. You can depend on the know-how of people who live appliances every day. Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent with nationwide buying power.
Exiles from what you ask? Exiled from the radio. But now, we're on your television.
I'm Bill Profita, he's Kevin Gallagher, and they kicked us to the curb.
But we're back.
We are back with Exiles Television on the Pelican Broadcasting Network. We're going to bring you the newsmakers. We're also going to take your calls and give you great information. It's going to be the best damn radio show on television.
Look for it on your cable system or download the app, PelicanSportsTV.com.
They said I could find you here. Why are you fishing? Our company's got to ship out 2 full color brochures and 20 color copies. You're killing me.
It's done. Designed, printed, packaged, and shipped.
How?
You just got to know the right people. Baker Printing, the printing people.
How come you get to fish in this private lake?
Like I said, you just got to know the right people. You can know the right people too.
Welcome back to the final half hour of today's edition of the Clarence Bugg Show. If you were with us as we headed to commercial break, you know I mentioned that a lot more vehicles now returning to the road, and of course this time of year you see a lot more of our friends on 2 wheels on the highway. And joining us for this segment is a guy that I am so very envious of. He is a former co-worker in radio, and aside from being the director of marketing and development for the Motorcycle Awareness Campaign, the guy has a Harley that is just too sweet. Scotty Drake, how are you, my friend?
Very well, thank you, Clarence. You staying safe?
I am staying safe, my friend. What about you and yours?
Oh, we're all good. But you know what's funny?
What's that?
And this is like the true definition of irony.
Uh-huh.
The price of gasoline plummeted, and we weren't allowed to go anywhere.
Right. And of course, when you ride a bike, it takes less gas, you get greater mileage, we've now got lower prices, and you hadn't been able to take advantage of it. So I know you got to be going stir crazy to get on that Harley and ride right about now, huh?
Now, I will admit that about once a week or so during the lockdown, I hopped on the Harley and rode, somewhere for a half an hour and turned around and came home.
Right.
I mean the weather was spectacular. And no harm done.
Right.
And a lot of my motorcycle riding brothers and sisters were doing the same, which is why I really appreciate your inviting me to be on your show today, because it helps me get the word out to your audience to please watch for motorcycles.
Yeah.
Because we're small, man.
Right.
We don't present a big footprint. In fact, the most common cause of motorcycle crashes is the failure of the motorist to see and recognize the motorcycle. And you hear it all the time from the motorist. I just didn't see him.
Right. Why do you think that is? Have we become so acclimated to looking for headlights that are spaced wide apart where we recognize it's, quote, a car, but so even when the lights are on the motorcycle, it just doesn't register with us. Is that the case, you think?
That's exactly right. And there's a psychological term for it, which I can't recall at the moment, but you're spot on, Clarence. And our problem at the Motorcycle Awareness Campaign is that in order to get the word out to motorists to please actively, and that's the operative word, to please actively watch for motorcycles, we have to rely on some unusual mass media. Well, let me back up. Of course we can and do buy airtime on radio and TV.
Right.
And we rely on broadcast legends like yourself to appear on your shows. And, I would deliver short presentations to the Lions Club or the Downtown Kiwanis or even the Baton Rouge Corvette Club to please watch for motorcycles. But the question that MAC faces is, how do we get our message to please watch for motorcycles visually in front of motorists as he or she is driving? That's the problem, and that's where non-traditional mass media comes in. So what do? We put our message, as you mentioned, in the lead-in. We put our message on billboards. We put our message on those, those electronic signs you see on the interstate. We put our message on bumper stickers, for example. I have one on the back of my car that says, "Please watch for motorcycles," and a motorist who is driving right behind me is going to see that when we pull up to a red light.
Right.
And maybe, just maybe, that person will give an extra look for a motorcycle at the next intersection. So we put our message on specialty license plates. These are real, state-approved, 100% legal Louisiana specialty license plates.
Wow.
And these specialty plates are available for both motorcycles and cars. And again, if the guy in the vehicle behind you sees it, it just might make an impression. And one other rather non-traditional medium that we use at MAC is the yard sign. I've got one in my front lawn right near the street, and hopefully that'll make an impression too. Now, I would be willing to bet that there are folks in your audience right now that either ride a motorcycle or care deeply about somebody who does.
Yeah.
Let me remind them that the MAC bumper stickers and the yard signs are available at a bunch of places around town, and they're free.
Oh.
You can find out where you can get one by visiting the MAC website, if you don't mind the shameless plug.
No, not at all. No, please give us the web address.
If nothing else, I am the master of shameless self-promotion.
All those years in radio, you honed that skill, my friend.
Absolutely. Anyway, the website, and it's a little unusual, it's macorg.com, MACORG.com.
As in Motorcycle Awareness Campaign Organization.com.
You got it, my friend.
I love it.
And there's also a link on the website for information on how to score a MAC specialty license plate. And I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't mention that all of our efforts cost money.
Of course.
And the guys and the girls who are tuned in right now can help our effort by joining the Motorcycle Awareness Campaign, and you can do that as well on our website, macorg.com. And, you know, as much as we love it when folks like our Facebook page, liking and following MAC on Facebook does not mean that you have joined MAC. So to join, we urge you to go to macorg.com and click join.
Fantastic. You mentioned something that really struck a chord with me, Scotty. Most of us, if not all of us, know someone and care about someone that rides a motorcycle. And you had a commercial recently that had some folks featured that we all know and love. Jay Grimes, awesome meteorologist from WAFB, the CBS affiliate in Baton Rouge.
Yeah, he's a motorcycle rider.
Yeah, Sailor Jackson, a personal friend, lifelong friend with Louisiana Department of Archives. And of course, a lot of folks viewing us right now are saying, Scotty Drake, I know that name. Legendary broadcaster for 4+ decades with Eagle 98.1, the rock station here in South Louisiana. It's amazing. People probably don't ever take the time to realize how many folks they actually know and care about love to ride a two-wheel bike.
Yeah, and I just want to mention that just because we are asking the motoring public, the moms and the dads and kids who are driving cars and trucks, just because we're asking them to please watch for us, we are not abdicating our responsibility as two-wheeled motorcyclists.
Right.
Those of us who are on motorcycles, we are watching for you. We know to do that. Our head is on a swivel all the time. We're always looking for what we call the out.
Right.
And we're saying to ourselves, what if? What if that guy right there changes lanes into me? Where's my out? What can I do? Where can I go?
Right.
So we are being responsible riders, but all we're doing is asking for the help of the regular motoring public to please actively watch for us when you come to an intersection or you're about to turn into a shopping center. Give an extra look and think to yourself, is there a bike there?
I've got to ask, Scotty, because it is probably pertinent now more than ever. How concerned are you as we get into phase one now, more and more people returning to their, quote, normal routines, more and more people behind the wheel, but they also have more and more things on their minds. So when they get behind the wheel of that 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 pound guided missile, they may not be as aware as they need to be. How concerned are you that if we're not careful, both from the motorist aspect as well as the rider aspect, that if everybody's not paying strict attention to what they're doing, we may well see an unfortunate increase in the number of motorcycle and car accidents?
Clarence, we've already had 3 motorcycle fatalities in the month of May.
Wow.
So yeah, I'm definitely concerned, which is why all of us who ride motorcycles are going to be extra aware of everybody else, and which is why it's so important that I come on shows like yours and be able to address the motoring public and ask them to please watch for motorcycles. So am I concerned? Yes, I'm very much concerned, but be assured that those of us on bikes will be watching out for you, so you please watch out for us.
For those folks out there watching right now, Scotty, that they don't get it. I just cannot understand why somebody would get on something with just 2 wheels and go motoring down the highway. Can you explain to those folks what it's like, what riding a motorcycle brings to the human experience?
That's different for everybody. Personally, it gives me the feeling that I can do something that not a lot of people can do, and I'm kind of like that in in all aspects of my life. I was on the radio for a total of 47 years. That's not something that everybody can do.
That's right.
I build furniture in my backyard wood shop. That's not something that everybody can do. I play drums in a classic rock band called Studio 4, along with Mike Benson from Eagle 98.1.
Right.
That's not something that everybody can do. I ride a motorcycle because I love it. I love being in the outdoors, a little bit exposed. But it gives me the feeling that I'm doing something that not everybody can do. And again, this is different for everybody. Some people will say, it gives me a sense of freedom.
Right.
I don't quite understand that, because there's really nothing that I can do on a motorcycle that I can't do in a car, except pull right up to the front door of Walmart and hop off. But like I said, it's different for everybody. It's a thrill, and let's face it, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, yeah. At the end of the day, when all is said and done, all of us want nothing more than to arrive safely at whatever our appointed destination is. And let's clarify something here. Motorcycles are certainly as entitled as everyone else to their share of the road, correct?
Absolutely. I think the days of people saying, get that thing off the street or on the sidewalk where you belong, I think those days are over. And those days ended with the stereotypical biker type, you know, because by now people know that people who ride motorcycles are doctors and lawyers and former disc jockeys and television hosts and plumbers and electricians and nurses and everybody can and does ride a motorcycle. So there you go.
You know, it's you mentioned earlier on that it's something that not everybody can do. But at the end of the day, if they want to, it is something that just about anybody can do if they choose to, correct?
Right. 2 points. Number one, if you do choose to, I strongly recommend you take a certified course in motorcycle riding. The state police offers them.
Yes.
Harley-Davidson of Baton Rouge offers them. Get yourself a good class. The second point I want to make is, and I talk to a lot of people who say, man, I would never want to get on a motorcycle. To which I say, good, don't.
Right.
Just don't. If you don't think you can do it, don't do it. It's like being a parent, you know?
Right.
I don't think I want children. Oh, good, don't have any.
So again, if you would, my friend, give us the web address to how we can find out more about the Motorcycle Awareness Campaign.
Thank you, Clarence. It is macorg.com. That's MACORG.com.
Now, how can we get one of those awesome yard signs or some bumper stickers to kind of spread the word and the awareness, because we're going to need it as we go through these various phases of reopening and traffic returns to normal?
Well, I'll tell you what, go to the website, macorg.com, and you'll be able to find all the dealers that have them, and again, they're absolutely free.
Absolutely great info. Ride safe, my friend, and
Thank
as
you.
always, it's great to hear your voice. Scotty Drake, broadcasting legend, formerly of Eagle 98.1, and now, more so than ever, the Director of Marketing and Development for the Motorcycle Awareness Campaign.
And how come you didn't have my picture up on the screen, man?
Because you didn't send me one. We'll get you next time, my friend.
You got it.
You got my number. Any info that you need to get out there, don't hesitate. Give me a call, Scotty.
Okay.
Take care, my friend. Good guy. All the way around, absolute great guy. And next time, I promise, Scotty, I'll get the picture up there, because there were thousands of people just now that listened to you. I'm not going to force them to say what they were doing when they listened to you on the radio all those years at Eagle 98.1, but rest assured, they were listening. Great guy, Scotty Drake, and more than anything, a good friend. Final break of today's show. We're going to bang this one out, come back and put a big old bow on it, and wrap up the Monday edition of the Clarence Bugg Show right here on the Pelican. Stay close.
From appetizers, pasta dishes, and entrees, La Contea takes pride in preparing all the Italian cuisine we know you love. Enjoy live music every Thursday through Saturday from 6 to 9, happy hour weekdays from 3 to 6, and brunch on Sundays from 11 to 2, as well as dinner portion-sized lunch specials for under $10. Visit our website to view our menu and book a party or meeting in our large banquet room. Once you try La Contea, your Italian dining will change forever.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to greystonecountryclub.com.
Hello, guys. It's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
That's right, the Clarence Bug Show is back, along with the Exiles, Bill Profita and Kevin Gallagher. We've put the band back together, South Louisiana's talk team, and it's only on the Pelican. 10 a.m. till 12 noon, right here on the Pelican.
Hello. Hola. 你好.
Experience what the Baton Rouge International School can offer your children. Now welcoming displaced students for short and long-term stability.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
Welcome back for the final segment of today's edition of the Clarence Bug Show. Talking with Marty, floor producer extraordinaire, during the last commercial break, and cannot stress enough. You find that funny, Marty? You're not floor producer extraordinaire?
I got 14 hats.
Oh, well, yeah, that's just one of many hats that you wear, my brother. Just one of many. Telling Marty how I have a sincere appreciation for motorcycles. I literally stared death in the face behind the motorcycle accident. If memory serves correct, and y'all forgive me because I got to think way back for this one, 8th grade, riding on the back of my brother's Kawasaki 125, got T-boned. A guy in a 56 Chevy, and no, this was not back in 1956 when I was in 8th grade. He was just driving an old car. Ran a stop sign, speeding, no insurance, no license, and wasn't his car. Long story short, I got, as the rider on the back, knocked over a stop sign and ended up in the weeds with compound fractures and the whole nine. And now that both of my parents are deceased, I can consider buying my own now. There's no way on God's green earth I would have even mentioned getting a motorcycle while my mom was still living. And you talked about mother's intuition. It is amazing. And here's proof. The day of the accident, the hour of the accident, my mother and father, both now deceased, were at the attorney's office signing papers to take ownership of a house, the first house we built from the ground up. They're in the attorney's office and the phone rings in the receptionist area. When the phone rang, my mother turned to my father and said, "Something just happened to the boys." And Miss Hazel, as we affectionately refer to her, my dad called her Hayes, short for Hazel. And he said, "Oh, Hayes, you nothing happened to the boys." 20 seconds later, the receptionist walks into the attorney's office, pale as a sheet, and says, Mr. and Mrs. Buggs, you need to get to the hospital right now. Your boys have been involved in a terrible accident. It is something I will carry with me for the rest of my life. So when you hear someone refer to mother's intuition, take it from me. It's real. It is as real as it gets. And now that I sit here and recount this to you all, still doesn't change my mind. I would jump on a motorcycle in a heartbeat. But in all seriousness, guys, girls, as you get back to the normalcy in your life, when you reach for those keys, I understand full well you've got lots of things on your mind. How grateful you are to go back to work. How grateful you are to visit all the places that you haven't been able to visit. Understand, this time of year, more and more motorcycles are going to be sharing the road with us. And there is a dual responsibility. Yes, they have the obligation to watch out for cars and drive safely. Yes, you and I have an obligation to share the road with them. It will truly be a sad commentary for us to make it through this pandemic, doing everything we can to keep the numbers low, only to turn around and have this big increase in motorcycle accidents and fatalities simply because we had too much on our minds and we weren't paying attention behind the wheel. There's a lot of things in this world, Louisiana, that are completely and totally beyond our control. We can't do a darn thing about them. English teachers, forgive me in 3, 2, 1. This ain't one of them. This is firmly within our control. All we have to do is put the cares of the world aside when we get behind the wheel of that 2, 3, 4 or more 1,000-pound guided missile and govern ourselves accordingly. Today is the day. Many of us have been anxiously awaiting phase 1 as we ease our way ever so slowly back toward normalcy. Yes, it is an opportunity to be grateful. Yes, it is an opportunity to rejoice. But just as important, it is also an opportunity for us to exercise responsibility. I understand, you know, with all that many of us have been through recently, I get it. The last thing you want is responsibility. Clarence, I'm ready to cut loose. I get it. I'm with you. But with everything that is worth anything, there is a responsibility that comes along with it. And the good news is, prior to this, most of us were responsible anyway. So it is simply a matter of returning to the manner in which we governed ourselves prior to hearing that now worn phrase, COVID-19. When all is said and done, it's our Louisiana. It belongs to us. And when all is said and done, it is up to you and I to govern ourselves accordingly so that the state that we love and the people we love can truly be the best that we can be. I hope that you'll take that to heart. All that being said, oh, don't forget, tomorrow, same time, same location, The Exiles. Bill Profita, Kevin Gallagher, right here in the chair. I've still got enough time left to say, today, more than ever, as we enter phase 1, I'll give it to you. America, you're right. We're not perfect. But doggone it, for my money, it's the best there is. And God knows there's no place else on his green earth that I'd rather be. Speaking of the good Lord, you do realize by now that he loves you, right? And I hope you know that I do too. Either way, there ain't a doggone thing you can do about either one. Take care. We'll see you Wednesday. God bless.